Hello, you guys. Luxira Moon Goddess. And today, I'm going to be showing you guys a love spell, a powerful love spell that you'll be able to use on, whoever you're dating, your spouse, or whoever it may be. So, let's jump into it and I'll explain to you how to do this spell. So, what you're going to need for this love spell. First, you're going to need two candles. So, I have my two candles here. They've already been, I've already light both of these candles. And with the candles, you're going to need, when you get these candles, one of the candles is going to be a feminine scented candle, and then the other candle is going to be more of a masculine scented candle. Now, the reason for this is because with both of these candles, the feminine candle is going to represent you, while the masculine candle is going to represent him, or the person that, who you're with. So, a masculine, or if you're a man, it's going to be the opposite. The masculine candle will represent you, and then the feminine candle is going to represent her. So, you're going to need two candles. The next thing you're going to need is a small bowl. So I have this little cup that I'm going to use right here. You're going to need some sweet almond oil, and then you're going to also need some jasmine oil. Now this particular oil that I have right here, this one is actually jasmine with some sandalwood, but it really just needs to be the jasmine oil. You're going to also need some chamomile. So I have some chamomile herbs. These are just two tea bags that I have. So I'm going to use this. Then you're going to need some catnip, which I have right here. And then you're going to need a small amount of water for the spell as well. The next thing that you're going to need is you're going to need some ribbon, and I'll show you why that is as to later on in the spell. And then the last thing that you're going to need is you're going to need preferably a black ink pen, and then you're going to need a small card and an envelope to go with it. So, those are all the supplies that you're going to need for this particular spell. So, getting into how to do the love spell. The first thing that you're going to do is, again, you want to go ahead and light both your masculine scented candle and your feminine scented candle. Next, you're going to take the sweet almond oil, the jasmine oil, and we're going to go ahead and put some of this into the cup or the bowl that you have. So I'm just going to use a few drops of this sweet almond oil. And then with the jasmine oil, you want to be more generous with the amount of jasmine oil you use. And both the sweet almond oil and jasmine oil are very good for, I found that they're very good for love spells and also really good for attraction spells as well. So, once you've added both of those oils, the next thing you want to do is you're going to add some water. Now, it doesn't have to be a lot of water, but you want to put a good amount of water in here. And you can just fill up the cup or the bowl about a fourth of the way. That will be fine. The next thing we want to do is we're going to take the chamomile herbs, and I'm just going to add the herbs into my cup that I have as well. So we'll add in the first tea bag of chamomile, and then I'm just going to add the second tea bag of chamomile. So now we've got our chamomile in our cup. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the catnip and I'm going to sprinkle some of that into the bowl of wet as well. Now catnip is pretty powerful spell wise, so I'm going to do 3 pinches of my catnip. Because as I said before, and catnip is really good for love spells. You can also use catnip for like self-love spells. You can use it for beauty spells or what have you. So I've added 3 pinches of catnip. And then I'm going to, with everything in here, I'm just going to gently stir this and blend all of this together. So we have our oils, our water, and herbs. We have all of it mixed into our cup right here. Now, I'm going to just quickly, within my mind, I'm going to focus and put in my energy, put in my intention and my blessing within this in this concoction that we have so far. So you want to bless it, really focus on the intent, really focus on what you truly desire from your love spell. You know, do you want him to really be attracted to you? Do you want him to desire you physically? You know, how much attraction you want to him. I'm going to just place my hands here and I'm going to take a moment to bless these herbs and really focus my intent into this. Alright, so I've put my intention, I've put my blessing within these herbs. Now, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to need a card and then the envelope. So, what you're going to do next is taking preferably a black ink because, you know, the color black is really, you know, good for manifesting, good for attraction, you know, good for harnessing and using the dark energy. So I'm going to take this black ink pen and I'm going to take my card that I have, and you're going to also write out, basically you're going to write out your intent, and also it's kind of like also you're doing a love spell, but with the writing part, it's almost like you're adding an attraction spell, which makes it more powerful. So with the card that you have, you're going to write out to whoever it is that you're performing this spell on. You're going to write out your intent with what you're trying to manifest. So it's a love spell. Really be clear with your intentions. And so I'm going to take a moment and write this out. And when you write this out, and as you see right here, you don't have to use a very large card. As you can see here, I have a very small one. And it doesn't have to be like anything super long if you don't want it to be. But the thing is that you want you to be clear about your intention. And you're going to just take a moment to write out your intentions about the one that you want the one that you're focused on, and the one that you want to receive your love and also love you as well. So give me 1 second, and now, so I'll write that out. And with that being said, when you're doing the writing portion, you want to be mindful of your word choice. You know, diction is very important. So be mindful of the words that you use within the writing portion of the spell. And when you do this, so again, it can be heartfelt, it can be something short and simple. I'm going to just write something really just short and simple for this portion. Like I said, it doesn't have to be too much, but just make sure that you're careful with your diction and that you're clear about, you know, what it is that you desire, the love that you desire from this person. Alright, so I finished writing what it is, my intent, what I truly want from this person, the type of love that I want to receive from this person. And so, with that being said, I've written it out on this card. And then I'm going to just place the card within this envelope. So I'm putting the card in this envelope. And then with this concoction with the herbs and the water here, what you're going to do next is you're going to take a little bit of this mixture, and along where you normally seal with, you know, normally this is the part where you lick and seal the card, you're actually going to take the concoction and you're going to put it along this part here where you seal the card. So I'm just going to do that. And even with, don't worry about like if with the catnip and the herbs, it'll still be able to seal. And so I'm going to take a little bit of this and I'm just going to put that along the seal of the card. You can also take, I'm going to take a little bit of it as well before I seal this. And I'm going to take some of this as well. And I'm going to place this, you don't want to put it on the part where you wrote on it, but on the other side of the card, I'm just going to take some of this and put it within the card as well. Not too much because you don't want it to mess up like the ink and the words that you've written. But I'm just going to take some of this and I'm going to put this along within the card as well. So now that I've done that, I'm going to seal up the card. So I'm going to take it and I've sealed my card. And just to make sure that it stays sealed, I'm going to, now you don't have to do this, but I'm going to take a wax seal. So I have a little wax seal right here. And I'm actually going to take, some tape because I just want to make sure that the card stays sealed. I'm going to place some tape on the back of this. And then I'm going to place that right here just so that it stays sealed. Now, the last part of the spell that you're going to do is, remember I said that you're going to need some ribbon. So you can take some ribbon, and what you're going to do next for the last part of this spell is I'm going to take some ribbon, and you're going to need it to be a good, decent length. So, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to tie a knot around the masculine scented candle. So I'm going to do that and tie it around. Make sure you tie it tightly. And I'm going to take the ribbon and also tie it. And hopefully this is long enough. I'm going to take it and tie it around the feminine scented candle as well. Uh-oh. It's a little bit short, but we're going to make it work. Let me move this. And this symbolically represents, because it represents, you unifying both you and him in the relationship. So it's unifying you both. And so now we have both of these candles tied. So this one's a little bit loose. Let me pull this up. And so there we go. And so this represents the unifying of both you and him. And so a lasting love between both you and him, which is what you want. You want it to be a lasting love. You want it to be a love that hopefully lasts a lifetime. And this symbolically is very powerful. So the last thing I'm going to mention, because you may be wondering, okay, well, I have these candles lit. How long do I let these candles burn? I would say because the longer you let them burn, the better, the more powerful the spell is. So you can have it burn for, at least 30 minutes minimum. I would say an hour is a good duration. I wouldn't burn candles more than 2 hours. So 2 hours max. The longer that you have these candles burning, the stronger the love spell is going to be. And again, you want it to be a lasting and powerful love spell. So after you've completed everything else with the spell, you're going to set these candles aside and you're going to just let these candles burn. Again, I would say to let it burn for about an hour to 2 hours. So that is all I have for this video. This is the love spell. And so if you like this video, leave a comment, leave down a like, leave a comment if you would like to. And I will check you guys later in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey you guys, it's Luxira Moon Goddess. I just forgot, I wanted to mention one last thing about the love spell. So remember with the envelope that you have, that you sealed with the concoction, one last thing is with this envelope, this is very important. You do not want to open this envelope. You want it to stay sealed. You want it to be a lasting love. So, if you need to, I just wrote down on this as a reminder, do not open this card. You want to keep this card sealed. Don't let anybody else open it. Don't let anybody else mess with it. And this is very important. And keep the card in a safe location where nobody's going to mess with it. Nobody's going to tamper with it. And you know where it's going to be sealed. Alright, that's all I have for this one, and I will check you later. Bye-bye.